Hi everyone, I'm Eleanor and welcome to the Intuition Lab. Today I'm going to be talking about how to differentiate between your intuition, your anxiety, and your fear. During times of strong emotion or uncertainty, you might hear a small still voice inside of you, but wonder, who is that voice exactly? Is it my gut, my higher self telling me what I would need to know? Is it my anxiety trying to get the better of me, or is it just my fear? So, today I'm going to talk about a few easy ways to know who you're hearing. First of all, your intuition is always kind. It isn't going to sugarcoat things or tell you what you want to hear, but it will tell you the plain, honest truth in as kind a way as possible, in a way that you are capable of hearing it. Your anxiety, on the other hand, that's going to be where you are bombarded by zillions of what ifs. If I do X, then what about Y? What about Z? Have you thought about W and ABC? And it's going to have an attendant feeling by and large. I mean, we all experience our emotions and our intuition, even kinesthetically. I don't think we just know it, we also feel it. You're going to feel jittery, uncertain, maybe even that feeling of your stomach turning over. Also, a good way to know whether or not you're hearing your anxiety is to determine whether or not you physically feel the way you feel when you are recognizably anxious. So that's how to determine, is it your anxiety? Now, your fear is going to go right to the worst case scenario. Yes, you screwed up at work. So, yes, you're going to lose your job and they're going to blacklist you. Just any bad thing you can think, um, that will, that's what your fear will tell you. You'll also know it's your fear if you have, like I said, a similar fear response to what you experience in your body. When you know you're frightened, do you have a chill going down your spine? Do you break out in a cold sweat? Are do you feel depressed or strangely wired, like you might have to fight or take flight at any point? That's a good way to know if it's your fear, too. So, going along with that, let's use an example of you screwed up a presentation at work, an important presentation that you were told you cannot mess up, and you mess up. Your intuition would say something like, yeah, you messed up. You really did. But it's not the end of the world. Maybe you messed up and maybe you do need to find another job, but it will just calmly tell you maybe it's time to float the resume, or maybe you should give it a few days and see what happens. It'll be the truth kindly given. Your anxiety would be, yeah, you screwed up and everyone was laughing at you. In fact, it's going or making the rounds of the corporate Slack or whatever messaging solution your place of employment uses. Everyone's talking about it. They're all going to laugh at you. No one will ever take you seriously again. You know, that's maybe that is true, right? But it's just going to needle you and be unproductive. Your fear will be, you know, when you go there tomorrow, they are going to call you in the office and escort you out your things. And, they're going to spread the word so that no one locally will hire you, or they're going to trash you on the internet, right? Worst case scenario. That's your fear talking. Now, how do you maximize your chances of hearing your intuition in any situation? So, the best way to do that is before you go into any highly charged situation and just day to day, have a grounding practice, anything from obvious meditation, be it sitting in silence or a guided meditation or however you meditate, having that, or just a centering practice. Are you able to sit still, breathe in and out like this? Just listen to your breath for a couple of moments and feel like you're yourself and that you're not reacting or responding to other people, but just existing in your own energy. That's a great way of doing it. Another great way of knowing whether or not you hear your intuition is to turn off distractions. So, no scrolling on apps. Sometimes even turning off background noise if you can, be it music or, the television in the background or a podcast playing. Can you sit in silence? Can you also, I mean, you can read, but also not turning to things that are reactive that you know will produce a strong, often negatively biased emotional response, right? Just cut that out if you can so that you can truly sit with and recognize your own energy. And I'm going to be talking about how you can exist in what I call your energetic five state, which I feel personally is the best place to be in to hear your intuition. So, that is the best way to have a grounding practice. But if you are in the thick of it and you're not sure, can you somehow absent yourself from the situation? Like, can you take a bathroom break? Can you step outside? Can you even just go around a corner, close your eyes for like 20 seconds and just breathe and just get reseated in yourself before you do it? I also find it helpful if you're confused about whether or not it's your intuition, your anxiety, or your fear to just ask yourself, what am I feeling? Am I anxious? And sometimes you might hear yourself respond and say, well, yeah, of course, or am I afraid? You can even ask, am I anxious? Is this affecting my ability to hear my intuition? Am I afraid? I think most of the time, we know, but we either don't want to accept it or there are other things surrounding us that prevent us from hearing our truest inner self, our inner guidance. So, in a nutshell, if you need to know whether or not it's your intuition, your anxiety, or your fear, you need to look at the voice or listen to the voice. Is it a kind voice? Intuition is like the kind grandmother or aunt or teacher or whatever you imagine a sage figure looks like who loves you, who wants the best for you, but is going to tell it to you straight, whether or not you want to hear it. And quite often, you can also ask your intuition, well, what do I do next? And listen for your next best step. Your anxiety is going to just seize on whatever it is you're worried about and spin all sorts of crazy scenarios like, but what if this, but what if that, and oh, and this and that. Often feels like a deluge of detail that is not helpful. And finally, your fears are just that, worst case scenarios writ large, telling you that all is lost. And, sometimes we do need to listen to fear. Fear can be a gift in certain scenarios. It can keep us from going down roads that would lead to harm, be it physical, emotional, psychological harm, things that, will present situations that we at the present moment do not have the skills or the tools, again, physical, emotional, spiritual tools to deal with. Fear can be a gift, can also be a way of keeping you small. So I hope this helps. Feel free to let me know in the comments or on my socials how you discern between intuition, anxiety, and fear. You can always reach out to me at the Intuition Lab on Instagram, but it's the underscore intuition underscore lab on Instagram. I'm the Intuition Lab on Facebook. And if you go to my Instagram account, which I will link in the show notes, you can also find links on other ways to connect with me and learn all about how to hear your intuition, how to have the courage to follow it, which is something I deal with every day, and also how to apply it in your day to day life so life doesn't have to be such a struggle. I'm not going to say that listening to your intuition will make everything rainbows, roses, and sunshine, but it will definitely help you avoid the dog piles we encounter in day to day life. So, I hope this helps. I am sending you all so much love, and I can't wait to talk to you all next week. Bye.